Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors are trying to recover from a 1-3 deficit against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but Stephen Curry's absence has shaken the team and coach Steve Kerr needs to believe in Jonathan Kuminga more. The Warriors executives will make a lot of changes for next season and new players will be added. The Warriors want to sign a high-level center for next season. If the Golden State Warriors are to continue their quest for another NBA championship, they will have to win 3 games in a row in their Western Conference semifinal series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. That begins with taking Game 5 on Wednesday, without Stephen Curry. Curry has been out since Game 1 with a hamstring strain, which has put lots of pressure on the rest of the team offensively. Without Curry, they have had lots of trouble generating good looks and easy scores. A large part of the onus has thus fallen on Jimmy Butler, the 6-time All-Star veteran forward they traded for in February. But in Game 4 on Monday, he seemed flat and had just 14 points on 9 shot attempts. Head coach Steve Kerr told the media that there was a big reason Butler didn't play up to his standards. Jimmy was under the weather last night, Kerr said, per 95.7 the game. He really was not feeling well and that definitely impacted him. Everyone knows who Jimmy is. He's one of the great playoff performers and I expect him to have a big game tomorrow. Butler's arrival was the proverbial defibrillator shock that the Warriors franchise badly needed at the time. They had been struggling to stay above .500, and their dynasty looked dead in the water. He gave them the second legitimate star next to Curry that they had lacked ever since Klay Thompson suffered ACL and Achilles injuries a few years ago. But Curry is such a great player that they're missing a ton without him. In addition to being their primary scoring threat, he also led them in assists per game during the regular season, and he's an underrated penetrator and ball handler as well. He will not play in Game 5, which means Butler must shake off whatever ailed him on Monday and have a vintage performance. The Warriors could move Kuminga for Mark Williams, Josh Okogie, and future picks to reshape their roster. With the Golden State Warriors trailing 2-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, their offseason will likely revolve around a major decision, whether to keep or move on from Jonathan Kuminga, who is set to hit restricted free agency. Kuminga's growth this season has made him one of Golden State's most valuable young assets. He averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists while shooting 45.4% from the field and 30.5% from deep. His athleticism and ability to attack the rim in transition or off cuts have been vital, especially during stretches when the Warriors' offense stagnated. Yet, with Jimmy Butler now on the roster and commanding a primary scoring role, Kuminga's touches and role could shrink, casting doubt over whether the Warriors can fully commit to his development. This uncertainty opens the door to a bold sign-and-trade scenario with the Charlotte Hornets. Proposed trade details. Golden State Warriors receive Mark Williams, Josh Okogie, 2027 first-round pick via the Mavericks, 2030 first-round pick. Charlotte Hornets receive Jonathan Kuminga. From Golden State's perspective, this is about extracting maximum value before possibly losing Kuminga for nothing. Mark Williams posted averages of 15.2 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks on 60.4% shooting before being sidelined and traded. He fills a critical need for the Warriors, who have lacked size, rim protection, and reliable interior scoring since moving on from James Wiseman. While Golden State's offensive philosophy doesn't revolve around traditional bigs, Williams' finishing around the rim and rebounding presence could give them a new dimension, particularly against teams like Denver or Minnesota. Josh Okogie adds defensive grit and versatility, something Golden State's second unit sorely needs. After arriving in Charlotte from Phoenix, Okogie averaged 8.9 points and 2.7 rebounds per game and continued to showcase his value as a perimeter defender and slasher. The 2 future first-round picks, especially the 2027 selection from Dallas, give Golden State draft capital to play with either for rebuilding down the line or for making another move if they choose to go all in with Stephen Curry still leading the charge. The reality is this: if Golden State doesn't see Kuminga as part of its long-term core, this could be the perfect opportunity to change direction. For Charlotte, Kuminga's potential outweighs the departures. For the Warriors, a return offers short-term rotation improvements and long-term flexibility. It's a risk, but it could make sense for both sides, depending on how the postseason plays out. The Warriors find themselves in a Jonathan Kuminga free agency trap. The 22-year-old has been sensational over the past 3 games, and particularly in the last 2 as one of the only reasons Golden State even had a chance of winning either home outing. Kuminga had a playoff career-high 30 points on 11 of 18 shooting in Game 3, before continuing that hot form with 16 first-half points on Monday night. Kuminga, like the Warriors as a team, slowed down in the second half but still finished with a team-high 23 points, 9 more than any of his teammates. Still far from his expected prime yet capable of posting 53 points in 2 high-stakes playoff games, how can Golden State afford not to pay and retain Kuminga this offseason? However, paying him big money is still fraught with danger as the franchise continues to try and build around Stephen Curry. Whether rightly or wrongly, Kerr believed Kuminga was not a fit with Curry and Butler on the floor, subsequently leading to his place out of the rotation in 6 of an 8-game span in recent weeks. Kuminga's had a stunning turnaround from out of the rotation to arguably the team's second-best player in the last 2 games, but the increased opportunity has only really been born from Curry's absence due to a hamstring injury. So while the former 7th overall pick has been incredibly impressive over the last 2 games, there's still the concern of exactly where and how he fits with Curry and Butler both available. Unfortunately, Golden State may not get any more data on that unless Curry makes a miracle return for Game 5, or if the undermanned visitors can pull out a victory to force a Game 6. It leaves Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office in a tough position they can't escape. Do these 2 performances mean the Warriors simply have to re-sign Kuminga this offseason, even if there's no proof of him working consistently effectively with Curry and Butler? Giannis Antetokounmpo linked to Warriors after a late-night appearance at Stephen Curry's party. As Giannis Antetokounmpo mulls his NBA future, teams around the league are gearing up for an aggressive pursuit. In Golden State, the Warriors are still dreaming of a Giannis/Stephen Curry pairing after watching them together at Curry's All-Star party this year in San Francisco. Giannis was reportedly the only non-Warriors player to attend. Antetokounmpo, who has been known to be a dream target of the Warriors for a long time, made a late-night appearance at Curry's party in San Francisco during All-Star weekend. Warriors officials on hand took gleeful notice, including fellow attendee, Golden State owner Joe Lacob, wrote Sam Amick of The Athletic. Giannis and Steph, it should be noted, are both represented by the same Octagon agency. Still, it was a Warrior-centric event with one notable, and very large, exception. And while Golden State is deeply invested in its Jimmy Butler era at the moment, the reality about a player like Antetokounmpo is that his greatness could compel nearly every owner and GM in the league to adjust their plan. All-Star Weekend is where super teams are born, and Giannis has been involved in several recruiting pitches already. Typically, as a model of player loyalty, it's Giannis who does the recruiting, actively trying to bring people to the Bucks. After a couple of disastrous seasons, however, Giannis' loyalty is being tested like never before, and some say it's only a matter of time before he asks out. Teams like the Spurs and Rockets have been named as the early front-runners for Giannis, but the Golden State Warriors are lurking as another potential destination. Giannis and Steph have already established some relationship after the All-Star party, and the Greek Freak reportedly prefers a bigger market, like San Francisco, over playing for a small-town team. After the Jimmy Butler trade, Giannis' fit has become much harder to see, but there is faith they could make it work with arguably the best duo in the game between Giannis and Steph. Even at 37 years old, Steph is an elite talent, and he could take the Warriors to greatness with the proper team around him. As a 2x MVP, NBA champion, and 9x All-Star with averages of 30.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game on 60.1% shooting, Giannis is the best teammate Steph could hope for, and if the Warriors have a chance to get him, they must at least consider it. The only thing holding them back now is the price for his acquisition, which is expected to be historically high. With another 3 years and $176 million on his contract, the Bucks control his future, and they have the most leverage in any trade negotiations. For the Warriors to win the sweepstakes and unite Giannis with Curry, it will take everything they have left, and it still may not be enough to beat the best opposing offers. If the Warriors want Giannis, their best hope now is for Curry to keep recruiting him and hope that he forces the Bucks to send him where he wants to go. Together, they could rule the West and establish a new dynasty in Golden State that will rival their best days in the Kevin Durant era. Kuminga was a real big man in Game 3. Thanks to an extraordinary 30-point outing in Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals, Jonathan Kuminga's future has taken another turn as the Golden State Warriors prepare to deal with his restricted free agency this offseason. Kuminga's value had seemingly plummeted thanks to his recent axing from Steve Kerr's rotation, but his startling performance on Saturday could in itself be enough to earn him a lot of money this summer. Fortunately for the Warriors, their hopes of re-signing Kuminga at a reasonable number while balancing their overall payroll could be boosted by the expected state of free agency league-wide. Kuminga reportedly turned down a massive $30 million per year extension offer prior to the season, something he may come to regret despite his stunning turnaround into becoming a key figure in the current second-round series. The Brooklyn Nets remain the most notable team with extensive cap space, leaving them as perhaps the biggest threat to Golden State in terms of offering Kuminga a sizable offer sheet. It may also cause a rethink for the Warriors, who may have been ready to move on from Kuminga amid his place outside the rotation, yet this re-emergence makes you wonder how they could possibly let go of someone talented enough to drop 30 in a big playoff game. The Golden State Warriors season is on the line. After suffering a 117-110 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 4 on Monday, Golden State is now down 3-1 in the series and just one loss away from elimination. To make matters worse, the team has already announced that Steph Curry will not play in Game 5 on Wednesday due to a lingering hamstring injury, thereby putting the Warriors at a significant disadvantage in this do-or-die contest. Despite their current predicament, however, head coach Steve Kerr remains completely confident in his team. On Tuesday, the four-time NBA champion coach described his team's attitude with one word: defiant. Kerr responded when asked about the team's mood following Monday's loss, by a 95.7 the game. "This is a proud group. This is a 7-game series for a reason. There's a lot of basketball to be played, so we're excited about tomorrow." Kerr acknowledged that they are currently in an unfavorable situation. However, he is adamant that his team has what it takes to dig itself out of this deep hole. "Obviously, we're in a tough spot now being down 3-1, but we feel very strongly we can come out and get a win tomorrow," he said. "All it takes is one win and the momentum of the series shifts." Game 5 on Wednesday will be played in Minnesota, which puts the Warriors at a further disadvantage. As Kerr implied, however, a win for Golden State in Game 5 will force this series back to the Bay Area for Game 6, with momentum on the Warriors' side. They may be down, but Golden State is not out just yet. Kevin Looney on what Golden State Warriors never really say to Jimmy Butler: "It shows respect." The Golden State Warriors now face elimination after falling 117-110 to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 4. Putting them in a precarious 1-3 series deficit. Jimmy Butler's lack of aggression became the focal point of criticism as he attempted just 9 shots for 14 points without a single three-pointer. Despite mounting external pressure on Butler to take more shots, Warriors center Kevin Looney came to his teammates' defense in the post-game press conference. "Jimmy is the ultimate game manager," Looney defends Butler's passive approach. "Jimmy is a great manager of the game. He kind of knows when he needs to shoot more and know when he's trying to pick his spots," Looney explained. "We never really say, 'Oh, you got to be more aggressive.' He knows when he needs to push the buttons and when he needs to go." Looney revealed that the team has complete faith in Butler's decision-making, suggesting he's taken on a leadership role in Stephen Curry's absence. "We got the ultimate faith that he's going to make the right decision, when he's in the paint because he gets to the paint, when he wants to just decide, when he's going to take the shots or he's going to kick out to other guys. So, we've kind of followed his lead and do whatever he does," Looney added, confirming Butler's significant influence on the team's offensive approach during this difficult stretch without their superstar point guard.